Hey everybody, I'm Steph.
I'm Michael,
Today we're checking out Mortum.
Medieval Detective from Arcane Wonders. So, this game is an adventure sort of you where you go and you check out clues and you go to visit locations and there's a narrative storyline and then at the end you will answer some questions to see how well you knew what was going on. And there inside Mortum Medieval Detective, there are three boxed adventures. One of them called The Informant, one of them called The Mysterious Place, and one called The Encounter. And they actually there it's all one big adventure actually. So everything you learn in The Informant might help you as you travel on to the next adventures. But we will only be doing box one, The Informant, and hopefully that's going to be enough to get you guys hooked on this game. I think it's gotten me hooked on this game.
Yes.
How about you?
And so, yeah, I agree. I think it's really well done. And the first scenario is supposedly a little bit shorter than the other two. So we're just going to basically give you a taste of it. But it is still quite in depth what we're doing here. So there is a lot to explore and a lot to discover. So I'm excited to show it off.
Yep. Now we have already played this scenario, so we are not going to be able to make these decisions. We already know all the answers, and we actually did quite well, I think,
Yep.
in this. We needed to get, I believe it was 21 points to have the top level, and we got 22 points.
So
So that's not the top.
instinct, my good intuitions, if you will.
So
Ah,
yes, you
that
went
usually never
to
works for me.
you went to all the right places. So in a lot of adventure games, you sort of have the feeling of, oh, I just wasted my time with this. And even in this game, even when you feel like, oh, I didn't learn a lot of information, you really do sometimes get a sense from what it says in the story of who is involved in all the bad stuff going on. At least I did.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree. It's very clever. You don't.
it's not punishing.
It's not
And
punishing,
to
which is
me,
why I think I like this best out of most detective type games like this. So, if you're with us, make sure to comment on what you think is happening, etc. And let's get going here.
Dan says he knows who did it. Hello, Duchess rating with a party of 8.
Hello, Duchess. We are just getting into this, so if you like to stick around, you can help us solve the case.
Who wants to play? So this, like I said, we are not going to play this. It's you guys who are going to make these decisions. And basically, you guys are just going to take turns making decisions. So I believe Jelfie is going to play. Heroic Logic is going to play. Who else wants to help solve the adventure?
Yes. And we can start by
Hello, Love Meeples. Hello,
reading the
Duchess.
scenarios, reading the card, and
So,
getting
yeah,
going into it a little bit.
the rules are not really rules. It basically says your playing area is going to be large, so make space. Players take turns. When it's your turn, choose a lead to follow um, by either taking an action on a revealed location card or taking a special action with one of your group's characters. Then follow the instructions and see where it takes you. Everyone can give advice, but it's your decision when it's your turn to make the choice. Keep a pencil and a few sheets of paper ready. You want to write down key information and to keep track of names and events. So, we're going to open the first scenario and read the first card in the deck, and that is all the rules. That's everything. The game will walk you through everything else. Shanna says, I'll help till it gets scary.
To be fair,
You'll be
it
fine.
doesn't get that
It
scary.
doesn't get that scary. So Shanno is in. Anybody else? Dan, are you in? And there's a fact on the backside, which we didn't even need.
Nope.
We didn't need the
So we're
fact.
not going to get into that.
So
Let's have you read this card.
I'm going to read this card. Read this before proceeding.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. Oh, he might need to go away
That's fine.
for a long time.
It's fine. Read it.
The game before you is an investigative adventure. You don't need to study any rules in advance. Just read the cards carefully and follow their instructions, starting with this one. This game offers you a chance to become members of a clandestine organization in a fantasy world called Mortum, where medieval technology meets magical powers and occult knowledge. The game consists of revealing numbered cards from different decks and performing specific character based actions. More about those later. You will need to conduct a series of investigations to answer certain questions at the end of each scenario. Your overall success depends on how many you answer correctly. The time that you have to investigate is limited, however, so you won't be able to visit every location, and you may have to make deductions based on the information you've acquired by the scenario. Each time you reveal a new card, read it fully and follow any immediate instructions it gives you. Then place it in the play area in front of you. Each card you reveal remains in play until you are instructed to remove it from play. Players may examine any card in play at any time. So if you have any questions, we can reread.
Yeah.
This is important. Reveal and flip cards only when instructed to do so by other cards in play. Now proceed to game setup by flipping this card. All right. Carry out the following steps, then remove this card from play. Reveal cards 1 through 5. Pick any 3 of these characters to make up your group for the investigation. All right, let's go over to the overhead. We have cards 1 through 5 here. We have a raider, an assassin, a spy, a warrior, and a thief.
And they all have little tiny symbols.
Hopefully you guys can see these. The front of each character card shows the resource and special action tokens that each character starts with. Take one matching token from the supply for each symbol on each character to make up your group's action pool. The flip side of each card tells you what each token does. So I can help you with that by reading these. So the raider has a fist and a combat and a coin. The fist is for raid. It's a special action. The group neutralizes any threats in a target location, then forcibly searches it and interrogates anyone there. All members of the group must be available face up in order to perform a raid. Place a raid token from your action pool on the target location on the map and immediately reveal the card with the location's map number from the raid deck. And I think I'm going to interrupt here. This is what makes this game unique from a lot of other detective games because there is a raid for each location. There is There is a search for each location, and there is a surveillance for each location.
Yeah, you can like
I love that.
watch. You can watch and see what happens and where people go, what people are doing. It's super cool.
Once there's a raid token on a location, it's totally inaccessible. You can't take any special actions there or any card actions that take place at that location. The raider, the assassin, those are the 2 that have raid as the special action.
Jelfia's onto something.
Jelfia, you did exactly what we did.
Yes.
I think we need to have at least 1 of each symbol.
Yes,
so,
I would agree with this.
The combat symbol. It's a resource, not a special action. The raider has 1. The warrior has 3. Weapons and combat training help you fight and subdue hostiles. If a card instructs you to spend combat tokens, you must do so immediately. Each time you must spend a combat token, but you don't have any in your action pool. Instead, the group receives a wound token. It looks like little blood drops. Additionally, certain card actions may cost combat tokens to perform. You can only take these actions if you have enough to spend. Finally, there is a coin on the raider, there is a coin on the warrior, and 2 coins on the thief. Coin says a satchel of coins can help you obtain equipment and information or avoid impending conflict. Certain card actions cost coin tokens to perform. You can only take these actions if you have enough to spend. Now, your raid and your combat tokens are replenished at the start of each scenario. The coin tokens are never replenished. So keep that in mind. Those are replenished at the start of each scenario, the raid and combat. Coins are never replenished. So What?
You
You
take,
spend them.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is 3 combat and a coin. We know what that does. The assassin has the fist and a surveillance icon. Surveillance is a special action like raid or search. The character keeps an eye on the target location and everyone in it. Flip their card face down and place a surveillance token from your action pool on the location on the map. Then place a second one on what's called a time meter. Things will take a certain amount of time to do. 3 hours ahead of the current time. So you're basically going to be surveilling for 3 hours.
That character is flipped over.
That character is flipped.
Can't use them. Okay.
So while this marker's on the time meter, you can't take any actions at that location, and the face down character cannot take any other special actions. When the current time reaches the marker, discard the marker, flip the character card face up, and then reveal that card with the location's map number from the surveillance deck. The surveillance token will stay there as a reminder, but you can again take actions at the location. Those surveillance tokens are going to be replenished when you rest. So the spy also has surveillance and has search. With search, it's a special action. The character infiltrates the location and conducts a thorough search. Flip the card face down, just like you did with surveillance. I'm not going to read everything because it's basically the same. It's going to be 3 hours ahead. And you can't take any other actions at that location, and that character can't take special actions. When the time reaches the marker, flip the card face up and then get the card that says search for that location. Surveillance and search are replenished when you rest. So that's the spy. The warrior we already talked about. The thief has search and 2 coins. So, Duchess, this game does not have a rule book. This is the rule book. What is on the cards?
We are solving as we go.
And I think that is super awesome. You can just pick this game right up and learn as you play. So Duchess, you can actually play if you want. We have already played. We can't play.
Or at least put in your input. But
Absolutely.
Pop Monkey says assassin, spy, and thief for the ultimate clandestine.
I like
super duper secretive.
I like being stealthy.
Yes, but the problem with the assassin, spy, and thief is that you do not have any fight power, which is the raider and the warrior. So if you're if you're going with Jelfia's idea of at least having one of each symbol, then you might want to pick somebody else. So, what were you thinking?
What are your 3 cards? Shanna wants the warrior for combat, so we'll tap this down a little bit. Jelfia thinks the raider, assassin, and thief. Raid and combat refreshes each scenario. This one thing is a scenario, so you will get 1 raid token, and you will get however many combat tokens.
Box too. So these 3 characters go with you through the whole.
Yes. So the 3 characters you choose now are the 3 characters you will have for adventure for scenario 2 and in scenario 3.
Right. So I think that's cool. We might be introduced to new people who join our party. We don't know.
We don't know.
We haven't played the whole game yet.
So I think that's super cool.
We get 3.
You get 3, yes. Coins are across all the scenarios? Yes. So that is important.
Whatever we find now, like if we started the game with 3, we're going to start the game with 3, and maybe we'll find more, but if we spend them, we're going to we carry whatever we have to the next adventure.
Exactly.
Part.
You might find more. You might not.
Yes.
The coin does not reset for the scenarios. The coins are one time only. So be careful with the coins.
Shano picked one, so Jelfia and Heroic get to pick one each. So we have, if Shano picks the warrior, we have these 3 fight symbols and 1 coin. So warrior, assassin, and thief, does that get them all?
Warrior, assassin, and thief does indeed get them all. Warrior, Yes, warrior, assassin, and thief does get them all. Warrior. Matter of fact, warrior and spy gets all but raid. You would need raider or assassin. But if you get thief, you'll get the search. Um, then you can get one of the others for raid. This has search. This also has search. Shano asks raider, warrior, spy. So that would be these three. With raider, warrior, spy, you would indeed have them all. Keep in mind though, uh, search and surveillance take 3 hours. That person is locked down doing that.
Heroic says spy. So Jelfia. So if Shanna says Raider, Warrior, and Spy, and Heroic said Spy, so Jelfia says agree with Shanna, so I guess that would leave the
Raider,
Raider.
Raider, warrior, spy. Raider would get a coin,
Fist.
a combat, and a
Is
fist,
that getting
which
them
is the
all?
raid. That is one of everything for sure.
Alright. Then there's your party.
And this is your pool of tokens. We will now. The tokens are available to the team, not just to an individual. So
Exactly. All right, looks good. That's what I'm
look
gonna
at
do.
that.
We actually had in ours we had the warrior, the assassin,
We had the thief.
and the assassin. We took the other two.
Yes, we took and it was basically the same
Basically,
reason.
yes, the same reasoning. So
So this
sounds
is
good.
interesting.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna put these off to the side here. Place cards 6 and 7 to make the time meter. All right, as you will see, this time meter starts at 6 a.m., 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 a.m., 12 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 5. Now, you will also notice on these cards, the later you go, the more red dots there are. This will be important as we continue onward. Heroic Logic says I don't get to play Raiders or Spies in a mini games.
No, that's awesome.
Place the current time token at 6 a.m. Some cards list available actions at the bottom. While a card is in play, you may take actions on it at any time unless the action takes place at a location that is inaccessible. Remember what I said about the surveillance and the search. When you take an action that lists a card number, reveal and read the indicated card. Perform the action finish setting up below by revealing and reading card number 8. You'll notice there it says available actions at the bottom. Anytime that you've got a card that is not yet finished, you can take that action. So we are going to finish setting up number 8. All right. This is the card's number. This is how much time it takes. This is the name of the card. And it's going to tell you, it says this is the card's number. Each time icon means you need to advance the current time token 1 hour when you reveal this card. Do this now. And I like how it's super clear that, hey, it's going to teach you the mechanic and also do it now.
We're setting up camp.
We're setting up camp. And don't forget to adjust the current time as you reveal cards with time icons. If moving the current time triggers an event on the time meter, first resolve the newly revealed card, then resolve whatever events happen, like whenever you finish
Surveillance
or
or
search.
searching, yeah.
Each character needs rest. They have to eat, sleep, and conduct other necessary activities.
Yes.
Some locations list a rest action. You can take that at 6 p.m. or later. Here's the catch. Let me put this on the board for you because this will be an important decision. If you don't rest at 6 p.m., you will accumulate fatigue points, which are red bars on the time track. that you're going to mark when you eventually do rest. Accumulating fatigue will penalize you at the start of each new day of your investigation. If the group ever reaches 6 fatigue on the time track, the investigation ends immediately and card 32 is revealed. So, separate the cards by raid, search, and surveillance. Let's see, here are the raid cards. And we don't need these on screen. We just need to fetch these as we need to get them.
Yeah, you don't know what the red does yet, but you know it exists.
Yes. Matter of fact, you probably won't know until the next day happens. So we have raid cards, which Steph will put on her side. So notice that that's a number at the top. So if you raided location 1, you would carry out what's on the back of this raid card. So, raid 1, the raid deck, and the search deck, and the surveillance deck.
Seems good.
So this card says to separate those out and place all other cards into a 4th deck. Basically, all the rest of your cards at the back. Do not reveal cards from this end. You guys have played games like this before. You know that this is going to be blocked off. Don't do that.
Don't do
that. Red is usually bad.
Yeah. It is bad, but maybe it's worth it. Who knows?
So, the setup phase is finished. You can begin your game now. The action is begin your investigation. We turned it over. Look, there's another time signal. We advanced, Steph. We advanced the time one more time.
Oh no.
Yes.
We're just wasting the day away.
Well, we had to set up camp, right? Taking a drink before I get started with more reading.
Well, I can do it if you don't.
No, that's fine. Remember to advance the time token 1 space when you reveal or flip cards. Omega Group Journal, 12th of May, 1403. A group of agents sent to investigate an out-of-the-way village called Rotwood disappeared a month ago. We can't even attempt a rescue mission, since the village's exact location is unknown to us. Not much is known about it at all. Recently, we managed to find a person who promised to supply necessary information. A meeting was arranged at the old ruins near the inn called the Sleepy She-Wolf. Our informer, who introduced himself as Lorin, Lorin, promised to wait for us there each morning from 8 to 10 o'clock. The heavy rains turned the roads into nigh impassable mud. Our journey to the meeting point took us 3 days. By the end of the 11th of May, which was yesterday, we reached the place and set up camp near the main road. In the morning, we broke camp, and carrying the payment for Lauren, we went to the ruins to wait for him. Notice it's 8 o'clock. That's when we need to meet Lauren. Reveal card 25 and place it in the center of the play area to start your map. Our main objective here is to obtain a map or description of Rotwood's exact location, as well as landmarks along the way. Here is the part of the map that you see. Got a little bit of glare on it for some reason. Here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to move this a little bit. There, that's a little better.
Yeah.
Adjust the green screen camera a little bit. So you notice that there is the ruins and the camp, and that's all we know about. Jelbia says, this is the start of most of my D&D games. So D&D, I loved playing D&D. As a kid, as an adult, I love it. And I think Steph would enjoy it too. But this is how the adventures start. All right, reveal card 9 is what it says. All right, as you see on card 9, 3 hours go past.
Oh my God.
What? So we waited from 8 until 11. Remember, he was supposed to meet us between 8 and 10. We
Yep.
waited till 11. The stone wall still sported the marks of a great fire, and the floor. What?
Rogue said, scared. Surprise face. Really?
So we went to the ruins. We broke camp, went to the ruins. The stone wall still sported the marks of a great fire, and the floor was strewn with the charred remains of slate roof tiles. It wouldn't have been our place of choice for a meeting, but still, we remained and waited for Lauren, examining the surroundings as we did. Reveal card 26 and add it to the map. Notice we see down up here we have the farm and the stable and the inn. And we're going to place it right here. Look, makes a nice little map here. Lauren never showed up,
Ah,
even though we waited past the agreed time. Perhaps he was delayed or prevented from coming by some event. Feeling uneasy, we examined the old house and found specks of crimson on the stones, looking very much like dried blood. Upon further examination, we found more drops on the stones and floor, along with a sliver of green cloth. There were many footprints around, including our own. If there were any strangers' footprints around, if there were any strangers' traces on the black ash covered ground, we couldn't identify them. But where to go from here? Perhaps someone at the farm across the road might have seen something. Lauren must have spent the night somewhere. We could begin our search by checking the inn. It was also highly doubtful he arrived on foot, so someone at the stable might be able to help us. Flip this card. No time. That's good.
no time, yay.
Time is short. When the time meter reaches 12 p.m. on the second day, your investigation ends and card 32 is revealed. So keep that in mind. You've only got till
24 hours.
12 p.m. tomorrow, basically 25 hours. We decided to keep an eye on the ruins for a while just in case. It's time to use your first special action. First, flip a character face down. Then, place a surveillance token from the supply on the ruins on the map. Normally, you'll need to flip a character with a surveillance icon and spend a token from your pool, but we'll let it slide this time. Steph and I said to ourselves, no, let's not let it slide. We've got a guy who surveils. Let's let him surveil.
But that's
So,
up to you guys.
that's up to you guys.
They'll let it slide this once if you want that to be the case.
Which character do you want to flip down?
He's gonna surveil the place.
Then take a second surveillance token and place it 3 hours ahead of the current time. And it will have the same exact information as I read before for surveillance. You can't take any more actions at the ruins for 3 hours. You could take actions on this card that takes place elsewhere, like visit the inn. Shelby says, I think the spy sees the best. I agree. That was my reasoning too.
Yeah, I don't know why they would say why they would even offer it otherwise. But
I agree.
I'm wondering if you didn't choose a character with the mask. Maybe that's why.
It's possible that you might not have chosen a character with a mask. Oops. I would recommend not doing that.
So that's why I think
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Spy. I think
Spy surveil. That's right. So we're going to turn that spy face down. Clearly, he's the one gone to spy. The surveillance token will remain on the map for the rest of the scenario as a reminder that you've used a special action there. Important, there will be no more prompts for special actions. You can use them at any location you've revealed on the map. Rules for each action are written on the back of your character cards. Remember, surveillance will replenish when you rest.
Yep.
Here are your available actions, and make sure to write these down or take a note of it somewhere because this is what you'll be able to do, and you'll always have these available to you until you've done them, obviously. Camp for the night, which is only available after 6 p.m. Visit the inn, visit the stable, visit the farm. Those are your options.
Or
Or any special action. Remember, those are always available to you.
right. So right now you can't surveil any other place. But you could, for instance,
You could search,
you
or
could
you could. Now, you can't raid. The reason being, you need all three of your characters
to go on a raid.
available and active to go on a raid.
But you could go search a place before, but you could also go just
Just
talk,
do the normal
do the
actions.
normal actions. So somebody has to lead us off. Um, who has a who wants to do something?
So, Jelfia was technically, Jelfia had said that she wanted to join the game first. We can let her take the first action.
Sure.
Heroic, well, I believe was second. Shano was probably third. Duchess, if you want to join in, you could also join in. And when it's your turn, you will basically make the choice for the team. Jelfia says, I think we should check the stables and see if anyone new has come into town.
All right, let's do that.
Jelfia says the stables. Visit the stable is number 11. Number 11 is one time. So one time, Steph.
Tick
Steph
tock.
is going to be our clock.
I'm a clock.
I'm a clock.
Call me Cogsworth.
And Cogsworth. Duchess is just going to lurk, but she likes these kind of games. Hopefully you like it enough to check it out from Arcane Wonders. Oh, I did not mention there is a whole sealed thing of notes. It's weird. It's like they had these extra cards that weren't used for printing, and so they let you take notes on them.
I'm not gonna take notes on cards.
I mean, they're too nice to use. I mean, so we just kept them really nice right here.
Kind of funny, but yes.
It's pretty awesome.
All right, read it.
I'm reading it.
No.
No, I'm not reading it. The stable. Now, I will reveal. We have not read all of these things. We know in general the story. We don't know exactly what's about to happen, and I really like that.
Me too.
The stable was next to the night shelter. From there, one could see an inn with a pub, a pillar of smoke rising from the smithy, and a two-story manor house, most likely the residence of whoever owned this place. Reveal card 27 and add it to your map, where we can see the pub, the landlord's house, and the smithy. And we will place that here. It's not a very big town. It's nice.
Okay.
So, we approached the wide gates and looked inside. A spacious room contained a huge bale of hay near one of its walls, and corridors led to multiple horse stalls to the left and right of the entrance. A lean boy was cleaning up one of the stalls. He welcomed us with a bow and asked whether our horses needed to be fed or watered. We answered that we travel on foot, much to his genuine astonishment. We asked his name and inquired after the owners of the horses currently kept here. The boy said his name was Fawnie, Fonnie, and with visible delight listed the owners of the horses. 4 of them belonged to Master Borals, the landlord, another one to Corbin, the innkeeper, and the other 5 to the boarders whose names the boy didn't know. Your available actions are visit the public house. Let me line this up for you. Visit the smithy. Visit the house of Master Borals. Talk to Fonnie in more detail about the owners of the horses. So, we have our old actions and these new actions available. We can currently visit the inn, visit the farm, visit the pub, visit the house of Master Borals, who is the landlord, visit the smithy, or talk to Fonnie in more detail about the owners of the horses. And it's time for Heroic's choice.
What do you think?
And you guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Of course.
Hopefully, you guys dig this as much as I did. I really enjoyed this adventure.
Yeah, It's super cool.
because once we played it, I'm like, we have to play this on stream. And here we are.
Yep. Does heroic logic have any?
Jelfia says, I don't think we need to ask the boy anymore. Heroic says from D&D, I feel compelled to go to the inn. And remember, you can always talk to Fani later just by flipping this card over and using that as your action. It takes no time to go from location to location. So don't feel like you have to stay hooked to a location. That's one of the things that some adventure games do is they penalize you for traveling. This one does not do so. It just penalizes
I
you for looking at the
and
cards.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So, Shano says the inn or the pub. Jelfia says it's nice. There's no time requirement back and forth. Heroic Legend said, oh, the pub.
So, are you going with the inn or are you going with the pub? One or the other.
I mean, to be fair,
Could
to
do
be
both.
fair, both are valid options for your D&D character enjoyment, for sure.
What's the final verdict?
And then the thief will get back in 2 hours, by the way.
Yeah.
Pub says heroic logic.
Nice.
Visit the public house is number 15. One time, please.
One time, TikTok.
Okay.
It's me.
Cogsworth. We went through the doors into the public house. The sated she-wolf, like the inn was called the what was it? The sleepy she-wolf. The pub is the sated she-wolf. Was furnished in a simple rustic way. The sturdy tables and benches looked seldom used, and no wonder. Only people traveling through the area or staying the night at the inn would come here for food and drinks. We saw a few villagers busy chatting, and a young cook preparing a meal in the stone oven, casting bored glances at the patrons. In another corner of the hall, a man in bright red and green attire played an unfamiliar tune on his lute. We greeted the cook, chose one of the unoccupied tables, and started discreetly listening to the conversations around us, using meaningless small talk to mask our interest. The farmers were discussing returning to their plots after the war, and none of them seemed interested in much else. We approached the musician and asked him about recent events. He put down his lute and told us he'd barely been here a day and knew nothing that could help us. We approached the cook, hoping to ask him too, but he made it painfully obvious he wasn't interested in conversation. Available actions: spend a coin to bribe the cook into talking.
All right, Shano, what's up next? Do you want?
Heroic Logic said green attire.
Oh, look at that little spyglass.
Jelfia says, oh, a bard, wondering if he's looking for an adventuring party. Jelfia says, too bad we can't split the party. Oh, but you have. Two of you are in the pub. One of you is
Still
in the ruins. You have split the party. Your options are currently, Shano, are visit the inn, visit the farm, visit the house of Master Borals, visit the smithy, talk to Fani about the owners of the horses, and spend a coin to bribe the cook into talking. Those are your options. Or you could use your search, which will take 3 hours, and someone who could actually do the search, which is currently the spy, or a raid, which would mean the spy has to come back, so you can't do that yet.
Soon.
Soon he will be back.
Yep.
Matter of fact, just about any action will probably make him come back.
Anything, yeah. What say you, Shano? What say you?
What say you? Shanna says, think the cook knows anything? I mean, you got to decide, whether you want to spend these 2 coins that you have.
Precious coinage. I don't think we know what the cook says.
We don't know.
It could be
We
anything.
don't know. We actually do not know. I wonder if we want to hold off. We can always come back and talk to the cook. You are correct.
Right.
You can always come back and talk to the cook because those options remain available unless you close down that location by doing something with a special action.
Jano saying maybe the smithy or the inn.
This is such a good adventure. It's so good.
The inn might know more who has come in.
Shano says
The
inn.
inn.
We're going to the inn. Number 12. It's one time. Cuckoo. Cogsworth.
Huh.
We passed the stable and approached the door to the inn under a sign that read, The Sleepy She-Wolf. Next door was a public house with another sign, this one reading, The Sated She-Wolf. We know that already. We pushed the wide door and entered the inn, where we were met by a tall, lean, middle-aged man in a long black tunic. He bowed lightly, welcoming us. My name is Corbin, and I run this establishment. And this fairest lady is my sister Vera. He pointed to the woman in the doorway across the room. No doubt you'd like to rest after a long trip. The beds are ready, and the rates are more than reasonable. The public house is next door. If you're hungry, you won't regret tasting our magnificent Roman's unforgettable cookery. Your available actions now are numerous. Talk to the guests at the inn. Spend a coin only after 6 p.m. to stay for the night. Visit the landlord's house, which actually we already have that option. Visit the pub, which we've already done. Visit the smithy and talk to Corbin, who is the innkeeper, about visitors and recent rumors. Some of those you've had before. Some of those.
But
also, we have finished our surveillance of the ruins. At this point, we will take surveillance card number 1. I don't know what you're doing, Steph.
That took 2.
Surveillance card number 1.
Let's see what he found.
He is back. And flip the spy back because he has returned. Spy is near and dear to my heart because I was a spy. I chose a vantage point and began watching the ruins. The time dragged on painfully slowly. The place was visited by a handful of crows and jackdaws. At some point, my attention wandered to the edge of the forest past the ruins. I approached it to examine it closer and found traces of a campsite, multiple sets of footprints, as well as a couple of improvised log benches. I expected to find the remains of a campfire, but none were to be seen. This says special actions, surveillance, search, and raid allow you to obtain additional information and even find new locations to explore. You can use them at any time, as long as you have actions in your action pool to do so. Just remember that special actions will occupy your characters for a period of time, and you can't take any other actions at a location while a special action is happening there. We suggest you use another special action as soon as possible, it says. Flip card 25, so 25B is revealed. Well, this will show that campsite remains location right here.
Which is now a new location.
And you have a new available action. Examine the remains of a campsite at the edge of the forest.
All right, so what are you feeling like, Jelfia? What is pulling your interest?
This is pulling my interest. And I'm not just saying that because, huh?
I don't know what they're going to
I mean, so I went into this game super skeptical. I'm like, oh, this is like all the other adventure games. This has the feel of choose your own adventure, but not with a real linear path. You can go wherever you want
and learn about things.
And the raid, search, and surveillance is fantastic.
It's a really
I love
neat
the
system.
idea.
I mean, I was just all like balls to the wall
So Duchess says, "How long will it take to play through a scenario?" I really like this. We loved it.
the the
This won't take too long.
the intro is faster than uh the other ones because
Number two, it will reveal at the end of this. It'll take about 3 hours to do number two.
it tells you it's gonna the next scenario is about 3 hours. This one is probably, well, since we're playing online, it's probably a little bit longer, but it probably took us 90.
It probably took us a lot. Yeah, it took us a little while, but
It's a significant amount of reading that he had to do
yeah.
out loud. So
I mean, you've only got till 12 p.m. tomorrow. Shelby says, "I'm not sure if we want to search or raid yet." Well, once you do it, that token is consumed for
right,
the rest of the
so
day. So do it judiciously.
right.
Steph decided to do Leroy Jenkins and just, she's like, really? And I'm like, what? Don't
Hey,
you want to wait a minute?
no,
No, I want to search and want to raid and I want to do
we have
everything.
these great options.
So that's Steph.
Shelby says, "Let's talk to the innkeeper for rumors."
Heroic says, seems reasonable.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Talk to Corbin about visitors and recent rumors. Flipping the card. An hour passes. Feigning idle curiosity, we started asking questions about this and that. Corbin was surprisingly eager to share tales and rumors from towns all over the princedom, while his sister Vera, a dark haired woman around 40 years of age, kept sweeping the floor. As the conversation turned toward recent guests, we jokingly inquired whether anyone had gone missing around these parts. Corbin crossed his heart and assured us that nothing even remotely like that had ever happened, and hopefully never would. We proceeded to ask him about the ruins and whether any of his guests ever wandered around there. The innkeeper shook his head, claiming he'd never seen anyone there at all. It was too easy to break a leg walking on rubble, he said. The ruins, he claimed, were the remains of some old tavern built before the war. So, your available actions are. I love the emoji that that heroic put. Hmm.
Squinty
I need a sus emoji. Jelvia says, no one ever goes missing. Your available actions remain as they were before. Um, Visit the aforementioned locations, talking to the stable boy or the cook, examining the campsite at the edge of the forest, talking to the guest in the inn. Those are all of your available options. And I basically just have all of the cards just sitting off here to the side, just holding them here in case you need them for anything.
Heroic. What you feel like?
What you feel like, hero? I'm most curious about the campsite, says Heroic. Shelby says it seems odd that no one knew about the campsite. Locals usually know about things like that. I love that you guys are talking this about all of these things because it shows that this is just really well put together for an intro.
Just so you are aware, it is 3
It is
p.m.
now 3 p.m.,
and starting at 7 p.m., things are going to start getting red. So,
but we're not going to tell you what red does.
no, of course not.
But keep in mind, if you quit at 6, you're going to wake up whenever you wake up, and
You have till
you've
noon.
only got till noon. So it's a trade-off. How far do you want to go? Now keep in mind the the uh the red things, the only thing we know about it at this point is that it's going to give you some sort of disadvantage the next day, but it doesn't say
What it is.
exactly what.
So you still
You
have,
just can't get 6, which means you can't go to 5 a.m. the next morning. That's the only limitation.
yeah, you still have the raid and the search in your pocket, but just so you remember. And then you also, uh, it sounds
Veronica
like you
wants
want
to
to
go
go
to the
to the inn.
campsite, which is 24. Campsite remains. 1 tick.
Tick.
And I can actually show the little benches. Also wonder if sleep in the inn would make up for the red, some of the red.
Don't know. That's what's great.
And but you'll know by the end of the first day.
Yeah.
You should know everything. The clearing at the edge of the forest was well hidden from the local buildings, but opened toward the ruins. It was logical that Lauren would have waited for us there. But he wanted to meet us at the ruins. That's weird.
Yep.
Upon examining the tracks, we deduced that more than one person had visited the campsite. There were even multiple hoof prints left a few days ago. It was getting rather chilly in the early hours, so it was surprising that whoever had stayed here hadn't bothered to start a fire. There didn't appear to be anything left, no personal items or anything of that sort. Even if something had remained deep in the grass, finding it wasn't going to be an easy task. Your available action at this location is thoroughly comb through the campsite grounds.
All right. Now what? Shano?
It is Shano's choice. The innkeep only had one horse. The landlord had four. The other guests, I think, had five total. We might need to talk to the landlord and or come to the site. Shano says comb. We are combing through the campsite remains. Tick tock, Steph.
Tick.
We checked every inch of the campsite slowly and thoroughly. Our efforts were rewarded by a handful of silver coins scattered across the ground. We also found a piece of black cloth snagged on a branch. Add 2 silver coins to the group's resources. Cha-ching! I hope a 3-hour surveillance wasn't a red herring, says Heroic. Yeah, that would probably have upset me had that happened.
I agree.
Because it forces you to do that first surveillance.
Yeah.
It forces you to do it.
Right. It also explains the mechanic.
So 2 coins and a piece of black cloth.
Now what? Delphia?
So it's not just coins, it's coins and the cloth. And it's Jelfia's turn. Let me know if you ever need your options.
It is
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock and all's well.
Well, except for Lauren getting missing. Also, that's a lot of coins left around for peasants.
Maybe they weren't peasants.
There's the question.
There's a lot of coins, though.
That's a lot of coins just left around. I mean,
I
we
mean,
had
who
two.
just randomly
We had
dropped
2 for the party.
coins? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's go present ourselves to the landlord, said Jelfia. Jelfia wants to talk to Master Borals, number 16. Tick tock, one time.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. The landlord's house looked lavish. The beams were sturdy and well cut, and the shutters and window boards looked new and sported intricate carvings. Very few could afford even the simplest of decorations in these trying times. Next to the house was a little garden with benches, also well decorated. A servant was cutting wood in the yard. The owner of the house was nowhere to be seen. We went around the house to the yard and asked the servant whether his master was inside. Master Borals is home, he said. He just sat down to dine with Mistress Martha, his wife. Your available action is to knock on the door and try to talk to Borals.
Wow. Now what?
Heroic, it is your choice. It is now 6 o'clock. Keep in mind that the search will get refreshed when you rest. The raid will not. Make sure to search something before you rest, and the search will take 3 hours. A 3 hour rest or search. I wonder what color the landlord's clothes is. Egan, do we interrupt dinner? Says Heroic Logic. Can we search the landlord's
You
house?
can search anywhere.
You can search any. Matter of fact, in the fact, it says, can you perform special actions at map locations you haven't visited yet? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. However, it would be a blind shot in the dark.
That's what I do.
Oh my goodness. You didn't. You
No,
but you did Leroy it a little bit.
I went on hunch.
You did go on a hunch.
What say ye?
What say ye?
You want to spend the coin to talk to the cook.
All right. Especially since you have an additional coin, let's bribe the cook into talking.
Sounds good.
All
See what he
right.
says.
Tick tock.
Like that.
It's 7 o'clock.
Oh.
Money made Roman much more talkative. It's like Roman with a U after the O. Ruman. We asked him whether the name Lauren meant anything to him. At first he shook his head, but then he pondered a moment and spoke up. Right. Think one of the patrons asked after him too. A couple days ago. Sat here looking bored. A bit on the chubby side. I'd say he was a merchant of sorts. Try talking to him. Perhaps this mysterious man knew our contact and could tell us where Lauren had stayed or where he was seen last. The information we needed might still be out there somewhere. Available actions: look for the patron who inquired after Lauren.
Ooh. Now what? Shano.
I mean, I think we will always be interrupting the dinner.
Look. Look for the dude.
Look for the patron who inquired after Lauren. So that is on card 20B. So it's a backside of a card. Tick tock, it's 8 o'clock.
8 p.m.
We spotted a heavyset man strolling past the inn and decided to approach him. He said he was a merchant and had arrived here on the 9th. The same day, he met a bored guest who introduced himself as Lauren. Lauren claimed he was also a merchant of sorts, peddling information. The man reported that Lauren was in good spirits and planned to leave as soon as he received payment for his information. Lauren spent 2 nights at the inn, and the last time the merchant saw him was the morning of the 11th, when Lauren walked past the stable toward the farm. After that, here's the stable, here's the farm, here's the ruins. After that, the merchant spent the whole day at the inn, but never saw Lauren again. He said there was no possibility that Lauren had left without being noticed. What piqued the man's interest, though, was that Corbin himself went to tidy up the room for the next guest. Usually Vera took care of that, since it was the kind of job that was supposedly beneath the innkeeper himself. What's more, Corbin carried something to his own room after he left. We thanked him for the conversation and left. At least now we knew there was no use searching Lauren's old room. Even if any documents had been there, by now they had surely been taken elsewhere.
Why would the merchant know all that?
Because he saw. He's watching. He's in. He was staying in the inn.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Sure.
We haven't been to the farm. No, you have not been to the farm.
You need to search Corbin house. Corbin doesn't have a house
Corbin has the inn. You can search the inn, which would be where the innkeeper would live as well.
because he keeps the inn.
He keeps the inn and he lives there.
So that was
That was
Shannon.
heroics.
No, Shannon.
Yeah, that was Shanno. Jelfia, what is your choice? Is it search? I think if we search, we will be at how many red spots? 11 p.m. is 3 spots, which is the same as 12 a.m., also 3 spots. So basically, if you did that, you've got about, if you searched, you would be at 3 spots and you have 4 more hours of information to get tonight.
So do you think we search and then we can go to the farm? I mean, I think without giving away the story, I think always searching in a day is a good plan because you have the token.
Right. You have the token.
Whether
You don't want to waste
the inn or the random location, I think it's still worth.
Shano says search. The search is a longer thing. I want to. Yeah, so yeah, for sure, you definitely want to do a search. So, search, sure. So, Jelfia says search where? Search the inn.
Corbin house.
The Corbin house. Searching the Corbin house. And that will be revealed at 11. And the searcher is obviously the spy.
That's right.
He does all the special stuff.
So
The Crow's house. Corbin the Crow. All right, so
Heroic wanted to see
heroic.
the farm.
Heroic. Are you wanting to check the farm out? We have the farm. We have let's see, the farm, talking to the boy at the stable, um,
Yes, farm.
talking to the landlord, going to the smithy. Yes, farm. The farmhouse. Well, sorry, tick.
9 p.m.
The farmhouse was just across the road from the ruins and the inn. Whoever lived there might have seen our contact. The house looked time worn, but well maintained. Next to it was a barn where the owners, it seemed, kept their goats. A little way past it was the cowshed. We approached the house and knocked. We heard heavy footsteps approaching the door, and a moment later it was opened by a stocky, gray haired man in simple, peasant clothing. "Good day to you," said the man in a surprised voice. "If you're looking for a place to stay the night, the inn is down the road." We explained that we needed to talk to him, and he invited us in. The old man introduced himself as Mirage, Miraj, and asked us what we wanted from him. We decided to be direct and asked whether he had seen anyone among the ruins recently. Mirage just shook his head. "Why would I bother to spy on the ruins?" he said. "I've enough trouble looking after the cattle, no time to stand and gawk." He nodded toward the cowshed. "Me and my Sarek, my son that is, barely manage to shovel the manure as it comes." Your available actions here are: examine the farmstead and take a look inside the cowshed, or talk to Mirage in more detail about the farm and the neighborhood in general. Shano,
Shanna, what you got?
what you got?
We're around.
Take a look around. Examine the farmstead and take a look inside the cowshed. Tick tock.
Uh-oh.
We asked Mirage whether we could take a look around, and he said he didn't mind. As we wandered around, we saw that the barn was occupied by a dozen goats, along with a couple dozen geese in a separate pen. Hanging on the walls were two scythes, a spade, a hoe, and other farming implements. A rusty hammer lay atop the wooden workbench, accompanied by several knives and a meat mallet, dotted with dried blood. We entered the courtyard.
Mm.
Recent rains and the animals' hooves turned the loamy soil into sticky mud. We made our way through it and approached the cowshed. There we saw Sarek, the farmer's son, washing some clothes in a wooden tub. When he saw us, he pushed the clothes deeper into the tub and asked us to leave. It's too dirty here for you to wander around. Also, it's not proper. Master Burrell said not to let strangers roam the farm. We lost some geese to thieves already. Leave. We approached him inquisitively. The cowshed is a strange place for doing laundry, isn't it? What business of yours is that? I found me a place and I used it. I need to wash up often. Farm work isn't the cleanest, you know, especially when there's butchery involved. Your available actions. This action will become unavailable if you don't use it immediately.
Oh.
Spend to combat. Subdue the young man and examine the contents of the tub.
Oh, so Jelvia, what do you want to do? Oh,
your
snap.
first your first combat potential. Oh snap, says Jelfia.
You want to get in a fight?
It's so good. It's so good. Ask advice from your friends, or you can just Leroy Jenkins. Hold on. Gotta do this.
Might as well get in fights.
So.
I
Chano both puts his head in his hand and loves it. Spending 2 combat tokens to subdue the young man and check out the tub. 2 TikToks.
Uh-oh.
1, 2. We looked around to make sure no one saw us, then pounced on the young man, aiming to catch him off guard. It turned out he wasn't such an easy target. He leapt back, avoiding us, and grabbed a heavy club. I told you to leave, villains! Sarek came at us, swinging his weapon. Subduing him would take some doing, and we could only hope the sounds of the scuffle didn't reach Mirage. Place a raid token from the supply on the farm on the map. You can no longer use actions or special actions at this location. Sarek was obviously skilled with the club, which came as a surprise, but we managed to best him and bound him with some rope. We started examining the cowshed, turning our attention first to the clothes that Sarek had been washing. The tub contained a couple of old canvas shirts, canvas trousers, and a jacket made of some rough green cloth. The jacket and one of the shirts sported dark crimson stains, still very discernible despite the washing. We pointed the bloodstains out to Sarek and asked him to explain them. What's there to explain? A cow had to be slaughtered this morning. That's a dirty job. Reveal card 11 raid from the raid deck.
Ooh. Ooh, we're going on a raid.
We're going on a raid. 11 raid. No, I did not ask for you.
Heroic green.
He's looking for the green. Continuing our search, we climbed up onto the low sub-ceiling built over a part of the cowshed. It contained a heap of old clothes, some of which were skillfully tailored from surprisingly expensive fabrics. Further examination showed that the clothes were of different sizes and were evidently worn by different people. Some also had faded reddish stains. It was time to talk to Sarek once again. Mr. Borrell sometimes hands us his old clothing. We decided to search Sarek's pockets and found a delicate silk handkerchief in the pocket of his shirt, which retained the smell of an expensive perfume, and there was a name embroidered on the handkerchief: Martha. She won't tell you anything, Sarek growled ferociously as we took it. We tried to knock some sense into him, but unfortunately, we knocked him unconscious instead, and he remained that way despite our attempts to wake him. We dragged him up onto the subceiling and bound him with whatever rope we could find there, then quietly left the farm. And we pause to handle the search.
Search at the end, number 4.
Search for.
Let's see what the spy found.
Sylvia says, oops. The inn was a tough place to search properly, since the guest and the help were coming and going almost constantly. I love how it's told from the perspective of the spy. I waited for the best possible moment, given the circumstances. When most of the guests and the innkeeper were away, I quickly picked the lock on the door to his room. The room was in disarray, uncharacteristically so for such a pedantic-sounding business owner. There was a heap of papers all over the table, which I immediately checked. Various orders and computations, delivery contracts, work schedules, and other information we had no interest in. It seemed the innkeeper was in charge of the tavern as well, which made sense. In his wardrobe, I found several items of clothing, including a pair of identical black shirts and a woven belt. One of the shirts was a bit torn, and a small piece of cloth was missing. I was on my way out when I noticed scratches on the floor, indicating that the wardrobe had been moved several times. Reveal card 11 from the search deck. Oh. Shelby says, so I think we should skip sleeping at the end. As quietly as I could, I pushed the wardrobe to the side with both hands. Behind it, there was an alcove with a heavy oaken chest. Through the window, I saw a tall person in a black shirt approaching. I didn't have much time, but I still decided to risk being discovered and reached for my lockpicks. A minute later, the massive lid swung open. The chest contained various gold and silver jewelry, sacks of coins, carved figurines, and other valuable items. Examining all of them was out of the question. I quickly closed the chest, pushed back the wardrobe with extreme care, and snuck out of the innkeeper's room. The return of the innkeeper meant the end of my search. Hello, Foster the Meeple, rating with a party of 17. How are you guys doing?
Welcome in, Raiders! We are working through this story, the first chapter of Mortum.
The game is called Mortum Medieval Detective, and I gotta say, it's pretty fantastic.
You guys just found some treasure. Thanks for following the Board Game Garden. Welcome in. What are you guys playing over on your channel? Foster the Meeple. Button Shy, that's awesome. They have some great games.
All right. That seems great. So if you are just now rating us from Foster's channel, or if you're watching us on the BGG homepage, we are probably going to switch over sometime around 8 p.m. So if you're watching, so be sure to follow us. Like I say, if you're watching us on the BGG homepage, you probably don't want to miss the rest of this adventure. So go check us out on twitch.tv/BoardGamerSteph.
Yep. And now that you have all this information,
you've got a lot of good information.
So do we find treasure like coins for us, or just
you just found that he has a buttload of treasure?
He has a lot of jewels. such.
figurines and whatnot.
Heroic logic.
It is now midnight, 3 red dots.
Jelfia says, I think we should sleep. Shano, do you have any input? Heroic logic, do you have any input?
Sleeping at the inn would cost a coin. You do still have 2 combat available if you're worried about that. Sleeping at the inn costs a coin. Sleeping at the camp outside does not cost anything. And I need to get some more drink. Shannon says, I don't know. The inn seems like a great place.
Well, you might find out more of what's going on. You might not.
That's the question.
You might get Sweeney Todd.
Well, the reason why I told them how many combat tokens they had left was just in case. Because they might be worried about that. Takes time to break camp when we sleep out. You are correct. I mean, we should take shifts. I take the last shift. Who's taking middle? Wow, I just spilled all over myself. Fortunately, it's a black shirt. Oh, a black shirt, you say? Is it ripped?
I don't know if you caught that, but in the search, he found a ripped black shirt.
A ripped black shirt.
So we also learned at the remains.
With the campsite remains, there was a
ripped
piece
of black
cloth with the 2 coins.
Right.
Shelby says, I'm cool with the inn. Heroic Logic wants to sleep in comfort. All right, we're going to pay a coin, and we are going to...
Shanna's like, okay.
I think Michael did it with the puppet in the board game room. Oh, Senor Azul doing it. Whoa. Everyone loves Senor Azul. All right, where is stay for the night at the inn? Where is that thing? The inn. Nope, that's the other inn.
That one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay for the night. Number 19, after spending a coin. No TikTok, which is good considering it's midnight. We paid for a room at the inn and had a comfortable rest. You can choose to either rest now and follow the steps below, or gain 1 fatigue to use the available night action on the card.
What would you like to do, everybody?
If you choose the night action, skip the steps below and flip this card. Now, let me tell you what it is if you don't take the night action. Replenish all of your surveillance and search tokens, as you do because you're resting. Count up your group's fatigue, which is 3. Add 1 fatigue for each red bar on the time meter and +1 for each wound you have.
We don't have any wounds.
That's good. We will set the current time to 6 a.m. And then for each fatigue point you have, either move the current time 1 hour forward, or you discard 1 of your special action tokens from your pool. You have raid. You will also have surveillance and search. So you can either discard those to save an hour, or just let it fast forward to 9 a.m. If you have 6 or more fatigue at this point, which you won't, your investigation will be over. Hey, thanks for following us, Smeister US. Smeister us?
Yeah, thanks for following.
Smeister us. And then reveal card 21 and remove this card from play. Or you have an available night action. Send a character to keep watch. However, you will gain a fatigue.
What do you guys think?
Whose turn is it to choose?
I think Jelvia stayed the night.
Who decided to choose?
You still have time before noon tomorrow
You still have a little time.
to talk to Mr.
Shelvia says, I think we could give up the raid. We need to talk to Master Borals. Use the hidden nuke, says Flooded.
Fortunately, it's 1407 or something.
1403. That's the hidden nuke that the legends have hidden in 1403. So, would you like to take what is here and reveal card 21 and remove this card from play, or send a character to keep watch and you will go from 3 to 4 fatigue?
He said he decided to sleep.
I decided to sleep, says Heroic.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it's up to Shano.
You're saying it's up to Shanna. Yeah, you still do have 3 hours if you sleep the morning away. Shano, do you want to send a character to keep watch, which will put you at 4 fatigue, which will put you at 10 o'clock unless you spend some tokens, which is fine. But you will also get the night thing that happens, whatever that is. Remember when you guys said you wanted to take shifts? Chelsea volunteered. I heard her volunteer for a shift.
This is true.
It's going to make you more tired.
Yeah, but you also don't want to die.
This is a good choice here. This is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shano.
Shano.
Yes, but we won't get murdered in our bed by the innkeeper. I volunteer Jelpia, says Shano.
Jelpia, what
All right.
do you do?
We're gonna Shano is going to send a character to keep watch. Since we're not actually playing these characters individually.
This is true.
Shano decides to send a character to keep watch. We are at 4 fatigue. Here's the night action. Replenish all of these tokens. So where is the...
No, these are the...
That is that. I need that.
These were for this.
No, that was this. This is gone.
Okay.
Whoops. So we have all our tokens back. Count up your group's fatigue. It's the same thing. Set the current time to 6. For each fatigue point you have, it's the same thing. So we're at 6. You can go all the way to 10 a.m. or you can discard one or more of these to move it back. And then we reveal card 21. And then we reveal card 10 Surveillance from the Surveillance deck.
Did you replenish the combat?
No, I was not. The combat does not replenish. The combat, if you remember from here, it says combat tokens are replenished at the start of each scenario.
Okay.
We have 2
for
remaining. The scenario.
And you said Surveillance 10.
Not yet, but okay. Yes, it will be Surveillance 10 and card 21.
Okay.
We do not replenish the combat. So, the first choice that must be made is, which of these do you want to get rid of to push this back? If any. You're just obviously getting rid of it for basically for the rest of the scenario. Those actions will be unavailable to you. Now keep in mind your spy is responsible for both of these. So it won't hurt you to get rid of one of them. Because you clearly won't have enough time for 2 of them. Even if you started at 6 a.m., it's 3 hours for one, 3 hours for the next, basically. I think the raid, I don't think we'll have all 3 people available at the same time, says Jelfia. That would be one. Would you want to get rid of either one of these, considering your spy is responsible for basically both? Jelfia thinks we need to keep search. Well, it sort of is Jelfie's decision on this.
Yep.
So she decides to kill surveillance. You guys seem to have a good idea about what's going on anyway. So discarding these, keeping search, and only going to 8 a.m. instead of 10. You've still got 4 more good hours. Is that okay with everyone? Jelfie is making that decision, yes? All right, revealing card 21. Obviously, no TikToks.
Why did it go twice though? Isn't
Why did it go
they were
twice?
at 12 a.m.?
Yes, and then they chose someone to
Fatigue.
stay at night. So
Okay.
3 turned to 4
Okay.
for staying the night.
Okay.
4 minus 2 tokens is 2, 8 a.m.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. We went to sleep, but were awoken sometime later by a series of insistent knocks on the door.
Okay.
Keeping our weapons at hand, we opened it. Listen to me, please. There's something important you should know. It was the innkeeper's sister, Vera. We made sure there was no one else in the hall, then invited her in. There's something going on at the inn, something sinister, and my brother seems to have a hand in it. Oh, really? How do you figure? There's something wrong with Corbin. I saw him leaving in the middle of the night several times, and I followed him once to the old ruins. From there, he went into the woods to meet some roguish looking crowd. Highwaymen, or worse, seemed to me. They spoke for a while, and then my brother received a purse full of coins from one of them. What did they speak about? I didn't hear much, but they mentioned a horse more than once. I think the rogues told my brother that the horse was perfect. Why did you come to us with this? And why now? I think Corbin is planning something bad. I went to his room a few weeks back, wanted to tidy it up a bit. There were items that belonged to one of the guests on his table. I asked him about them and he got incredibly angry. Told me never to enter the room without his say so. He's barely spoken to me since. I heard him mention once that I'm a burden for him, and he wishes he could leave this place for a fresh start without me and Master Borals. I suspect he's stealing from our guests so that he has money to run away. You must tell Master Borals about this. Why don't you go to Borals yourself? I'm afraid he won't believe me, and my brother would simply kill me for something like this. The door creaked downstairs, and Vera ran from our room. Please tell everything to Borals, she whispered as she fled. Your available actions will include talk to Borals about Vera's suspicions. And this is even before you actually go into the landlord's house to speak with him for the first time. So that's sort of interesting. Um, and reveal card 10 from the surveillance deck. This is your bonus for staying up the night. Clouds in the night sky stole most of the moonlight. The dim oil lamps outside the door to the inn lit an area only a few steps across. I strained my eyes, staring into the darkness, looking out for a glimmer or movement, but to no avail. The street was devoid of all life. If the locations, the farm and the landlord's house, both don't have fist tokens, reveal card 15 from the surveillance deck. They both don't. You do have one open. So we get to reveal 15.
Ooh.
So it's like, so what can we still do? Kill it with fire. In the dark, I almost missed a large dark figure strolling through the field towards the landlord's house. I sped to catch up with the stranger, but I only managed to see an upstairs window close as I approached the house. Naturally, I kept watch, and about an hour later, the window opened again. I made out only a couple of whispered phrases. Where did you get that from? I told you I found a hoard in the forest ravine. Then a tall, broad shouldered man climbed out, skillfully making his way to the ground. He quickly headed toward the field and soon disappeared from sight. So, in addition to talking to Borals about Vera's suspicions, we also have look for the ravine in the woods. Wow, you've got A lot of good options now.
You have 4 hours.
It is currently 8 o'clock.
It's tricky. What do you guys want to do from here?
I bought from a dude on a trench coat on the corner.
I mean, because we came to this town to look for what was our intent to begin with? To look for this place.
We are trying to find where the village of Rotwood is. Remember?
Yes.
Yes. And Lauren was going to tell us where Rotwood was. Corbin is doing the landlord's wife.
Scandalous.
Whoa. That Corbin.
Heroic says ravine.
Look for the ravine in the woods. Also, keep in mind, if you want to search, since it ends at 12, I would recommend doing this so that this marker either falls on 11 or 12, which either search now for 11 or search soon for 12. You don't want it to slip past 1 because the adventure ends at 12. Search, then ravine. Now remember, search does not take your time.
Right, you just do it.
You just do it, and it flips the spy over. So it was probably a good idea to get rid of raid. So if you search, searching whatever location, what didn't Heroic want the spy? Heroic, if you want to do the search, and then maybe your team will search the ravine anyway.
I mean, Jelfia says search then ravine. Search where? Where do
That's the question.
Where do you guys want to
Where
search?
do you want to search?
You got the stable, you've got the landlord's house, you've got the smithy, you got the pub, and we already did the ruin. Landlord,
Landlord, landlord, landlord, landlord,
landlord,
landlord, landlord.
towers out.
And then we're doing ravine. Is that correct? He's suspicious too.
Oh, for sure. Totes sus.
Oh, sus. All right. Oh, for what it's worth, if you're curious, remember when you said, is it going to help you staying at the inn? If you had stayed at the camp, little minor spoiler here, but you're not going to play this again. You're going to play the next adventure, am I right? If you had chosen the camp, there was an available night action, but you would have set the current time to 7 a.m., not 6.
You slept in too long.
You sleep in when you're camping. So
the ground is so comfortable.
we are going to look for the ravine in the woods.
Look for the ravine.
Tick tock.
Tick tock.
A ravine in the woods was as good as a needle in a haystack. The search could have taken weeks with no success. Still, we were sure the place had to be close, and, having limited the search area to our immediate surroundings, we split and went in different directions. The first hour was indeed spent fruitlessly. We could call it off or move deeper into the woodland. Your action is you can keep looking if you choose.
Shano, what do you say?
Yeah, to break camp takes an hour. To wake up from being outside in the cold, because remember, he says it's rather chilly. Man, it sucks.
I bet. I bet.
You guys have gone through quite a few of these cards. I really, I think they did a great job with this. Good job, Robert.
Keep looking, question mark.
And Sergey.
If other people agree.
Keep looking if I get consensus.
Delphia, heroic, what say you?
What say you? Can't wait till they answer the questions. Yeah, I've been in tent camping a few times in October. It takes a while to break camp in the cold. Searching deeper. I want to keep looking.
Yep.
Do you have enough food? Asked Bloody.
We just have money.
Yeah, we got money. Close to the TikTok. One tick. Close to the end of the second hour, we finally stumbled on the place Martha had mentioned. What Martha? Didn't Vera mention it?
Yeah, that's probably a typo.
We spotted it thanks to some birds, crows to be exact, circling overhead in large numbers. The member of our group who found the spot, hesitant to examine it alone, returned to the edge of the woods and waited for the rest of us to assemble. Flip card 26. You now have the ravine right here.
No.
Your available action is to examine the ravine in the woods.
What
You
say you?
found you found the ravine, you just haven't explored it yet.
All right, Delphia. Now what? Let's do that. We could talk to then we could talk to the landlord. Yep, provided it doesn't take time. Well, we are searching the landlord's house right now.
Yeah, you're currently
in
your
the
spy.
process of
Your spy is searching the landlord's house.
What say you, Hero? Okay, says Shano.
Yeah, search the ravines, says Jelfia. Well, I have some news for you. Double tick.
TikTok.
So we are beyond the search, but first we have to do this. The smell of death and decay hit us before we even got close to the ravine. As we laid eyes on it, we saw a gruesome picture. Remains of several humans were there, already visited by hungry beasts. All that remained were ragged bones. Yes, we are at 12. Aside from one fresh corpse that the predators hadn't yet torn to pieces.
Oh gosh.
It was a somewhat heavy-set man with a woven bag laid next to him. Someone had evidently searched it for valuables, but only found a handful of scrolls, which they discarded as worthless. Those scrolls, however, were exactly what we were hoping to obtain: the route to Rotwood. The writings told us we needed to keep to the main road until we reached a village with the ruins of an old stone tower, then take the forest path to the north. There were a few drawings of landmarks along the way. Most notable of these was a giant rock shaped like a wolf's head. Now that we had what we needed, we decided we had enough time to bury the remains. This was the least we could do. After that, we were ready to set out to Rotwood, but we'd seen enough to grow concerned about what was happening in this place. We decided to postpone our departure until the scheduled time. Spoiler alert, it's now the scheduled time. Flip this card to reveal a keyword and keep it for future scenarios. The keyword is final rest.
This is love, it's meat pies.
What?
I can't help but think of Sweetie Todd.
We have also searched, and this happens.
Search 6.
Search 6. Yeah, that was Lauren, Shano.
That's why it took 2 hours.
That's why it took 2 hours, because you had to bury him. Here is the search of the landlord's house. Getting into the landlord's house proved challenging. He spent most of his time inside, and so did his spouse. Their young servant was either busy with his chores in the yard or inside the house as well. At some point, I got lucky. The landlord went out and walked toward the stable, and the servant headed toward the pub. The lady of the house was still inside, but I decided the risk was justified. I entered the house through the side door and examined the ground floor rooms. The interior wasn't exactly lavish, but the portraits on the walls pointed to the noble lineage of its inhabitants. The master bedroom featured a few familial portraits in gilded frames and a series of carved bone figurines inlaid with silver and gold on a shelf at the head of the bed. The clothes were impressive, all of them made from expensive materials. Most of the clothing looked old, though. Well kept, but still weathered, with a few even showing signs of mended tears. There were a few flasks of perfume on the vanity table. The drawer contained a stack of carefully folded handkerchiefs with intricate embroidery. A small chest held several pieces of jewelry. Nothing too large or too expensive, but still a respectable collection. I was about to leave when the landlord's wife came downstairs. Reveal card 12 from the search deck. I slid into a shadow between the door and the wall and waited for an opportunity to sneak past the woman. The opportunity came soon. She stood by the window, excuse me, for a few moments, as if in hesitation, then draped a light shawl around her shoulders, put on her boots, walked out through the side door, and quickly headed toward the woods, anxiously looking around. I couldn't pass up the chance to explore the upper floor, but I found nothing worthy of attention. Two rooms were empty, aside from some basic furniture. The third one evidently belonged to the landlord's wife. It had a neatly made single bed, a chair, and a small table covered with a linen cloth. On top of it, there was a small clay vase with some flowers and a book, a collection of ballads. More books were stacked on the shelf. I checked under the mattress and was surprised by a rather large and dainty gold necklace with multiple jewels. Why was it being kept here and not in the master bedroom? Why would anyone hide it under the mattress? At that point, I was startled by the sound of a door opening downstairs, so it was time for me to leave. I opened a rear facing window, slid down to the ground, and made my escape. The time has come. The time has come.
All right. How well do you think you know what's going on here?
When it reaches 12 o'clock, we're supposed to get card number. Where is the first one? 32. You guys only had 7 of these cards that you did not look at. Obviously, a whole bunch of raid and search and everything like
Rose
that.
like arrest everybody. Sounds like a plan.
You've spent all the time allotted for your investigation, and your search for information is over. To gauge your success, you must now answer several questions about your findings. For each question on the following cards, mark one answer in your notes. At the end, you will be scored based on whether your answers are correct.
All right. Uh, you guys will pick a number together or a letter together. You'll have multiple choice. So, what's that?
It's just your journal. The time is up. What happened to your contact? A. He never planned to show up at all. B. He was sold into slavery. C. He was killed. D. He escaped. E. He was kidnapped. F. Not sure. Jeffy says, oh, it's A. Jelvia says, I think the innkeeper is working with the farmer or farmer's son. The landlord is going to run away. The landlord's wife is going to run away with the innkeeper, and they're murdering people to give the raider info on who to kill. The he died one. That is, he was killed. That is C. Does everyone agree?
Shano heroic.
Shano and heroic. C is killed.
Oh my god.
No stabby in mode. I love it. Everyone agrees.
Okay, great.
Who was directly involved in Lauren's disappearance? There are several choices. And listen carefully, and I will reread them if you need them again. A, the farmer's son, the innkeeper, the stable hand, and the landlord's wife. B, the farmer's son, the innkeeper, the stable hand, the cook. C, the farmer's son, the innkeeper. D, the farmer's son, the innkeeper, the stable hand. E, the innkeeper, the stable hand, the landlord. F, not sure. You can get partial credit. Jelvia says C, I think. That's farmer's son and innkeeper. Jelvia says, or A, which is the son, the innkeeper, the stable hand, and the landlord's wife. Shano agrees. C, we know those two. So that is your choice is C. Jelvia says, not sure if the stable hand has anything to do with it or not. Splutty also says C. Splutty has been joining in now, which is great.
Okay, I'll write C down.
You are two playing Splutty-ish, sort of. The stable hand we don't know enough, says Shano. Go with what we know for sure.
Okay, C.
C. What shady events are unfolding around the inn? A. The guests' horses are being stolen. B. The guests are being robbed and killed. C. The guests are being sold into slavery. D. The people who work there are being held against their will. E. There is a conspiracy against the landlord. F. Not sure. Jelvia says B. The guests are being robbed and killed. Probably switch to the front camera if you want, unless they like looking at these.
Sure.
You guys want the front camera or this camera? Or killed and robbed, maybe.
That wasn't an option,
I mean, it's easier to rob them when they're dead.
I agree.
Just saying. I might not know this personally. B. Everyone says B.
Well, at least you're all on the same page.
Question 4 of 8. Where is the information we need? A. The innkeeper has it. B. The landlord has it. C. It's in the cowshed at the farm. D. It's in the ravine. E. People who visited the campsite have it. F. Not sure. Fortunately, y'all know this.
Delphia says A, C. Heroic says D. Shanna says D.
The information we need is not who did the murders. The information you need is the location of the village of Rotwood. So I meant A and D. So going with D. 5. Why did Lauren disappear? A. He was mistaken for a spy. B. He was sold into slavery. C. His information was of interest to a third party. D. He was a victim of a robbery. E. He was a witness to a crime. F. Not sure. Althea says D. He was the victim of a robbery. Shano and Heroic agree. Question 6. What landmark will you be looking for in your journey? A. A ruined tower made from black stone. B. A giant rock shaped like a wolf's head. C. A village with a paved circular square. D. A lone rock towering over the forest. E. A giant oak. F. Not sure. Jelvia says the wolf head. Shano says B, which is the wolf head. I'm assuming Heroic will agree. Heroic is being quiet, but we have 2 out of 3 B's. He says agreed. Who last used the remote campsite near the ruins? Lauren to wait for us away from prying eyes. B. The Black Marketeers. C. The brigands who attacked the travelers on the road. D. The conspirators for a meeting in private. E. Two lovebirds for a meeting in private. F. Not sure. This is the campsite remains up here. If you need those options, I can give them again. Jelfia says C. The brigands who attack the travelers on the road.
Repeat.
A. Lauren, to wait for us away from prying eyes. B. The Black Marketeers. C. The brigands who attack the travelers on the road. D. The conspirators for a meeting in private. E. Two lovebirds for a meeting in private. Who used the remote campsite last near the ruins? This spot up here. Who last used that place? D. The piece of shirt left.
What was the D again?
D was the conspirators for a meeting in private.
Hmm.
All right. We have a C, we have a D. Not sure is also an option. That is correct.
Yep. I think there's what, one more question after this?
Not sure is always 0 points. So,
That's fair.
spoiler alert. I think it was the brigands. They did not need a campsite as they are not spending the night there, just waiting for someone to come by. Heroic says, my first thought was brigands. That would be C.
Because you're right.
Yes, they didn't need a campfire. You are correct.
Right.
Question 8. Who is the main person of interest related to the shady business around the inn? A. Sarek, the farmer's son. B. Martha, the landlord's wife. C. Corbin, the innkeeper. D. Master Borals, the landlord himself. E. Vera, the innkeeper's sister. F. Not sure. C. Everyone go and see. Everyone knows Corbin did it. Now flip this card over and get your score. If you have less than 12 points, the case will remain a mystery to you. We recommend you give it another go. 12 to 15 points, not bad. Many details remain uncovered, but you can still call this a success. 16 to 20, you have uncovered almost everything. Well done. 21 or more, you have complete knowledge of events. Here's the thing. We got 22 points and missed one of them entirely.
It's true.
We missed one entirely.
So
So
you guys will probably do better.
here we go.
Yes.
Choice 1 was
C.
3 points. It's the only one with points. That means that was what happened to your contact? He was killed.
Yep. You knew that.
Question 2. There are 3 that will give points. Who was directly involved in Lauren's disappearance?
C.
The farmer's son and the innkeeper will give you 2 points. The stable hand was also involved. Question 3. What shady events are unfolding around the inn?
B.
The guests are being robbed and killed. 3 points. You could have also got 1 point. The guests' horses are being stolen. That's only 1 point, though. Question 4. Where is the information we need?
D.
It's in the ravine. There's only one thing that'll get you points, and that one gives you 5 because not everyone gets that. Not everyone gets that.
Nice job, because we needed the map.
We needed the map or information that could get us to
Right.
the spot.
Yep.
Question 5. Why did Lauren disappear?
D.
D. No points. He was not a victim of a robbery. 1 point would have given you he was witness to a crime. 3 points. He was mistaken for a spy. We also missed that.
Yeah, we missed that.
We also missed
So
that.
there was something that we both missed in our games.
Yes. So that's okay. We both missed that. Question 6. What landmark will you be looking for in your journey? You could have gotten partial credit, 3 points, if you had said a ruined tower from Blackstone.
Because they did say that.
They did talk about that, but the answer is a giant rock shaped like a wolf head, 5 points. Question 7. Who last used the remote campsite near the ruins? Now, I did not care for the wording of the descriptions with this stuff.
They said C.
They said C, which gives you 1 point. They wanted the Black Marketeers.
I
And
feel like
I'll tell you the story.
at one point.
I'll tell you the story in a minute with that. That is a point, though. And question 8, who is dealing with the shadiness in the inn? There's only
C.
one thing that'll get you points, and that's C, 3 points. Add them up, Steph.
All right, 10, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22, exactly the score we got.
I think
Exactly.
we answered the same.
I think we answered the same thing.
So,
So, if you scored at least 12, but you didn't reveal Final Rest, reveal card 35. If you did reveal it, read 35B. Having completed our investigation, we found that the innkeeper Corbin was the leader of a criminal ring that robbed and killed the guest of the inn. The actual dirty business was taken care of by the farmer's son, while the stable hand assisted by selling the guest's horses. Corbin regularly met with some black marketeers by the old tavern ruins near the inn to sell some of the stolen property. Remember the horse was in perfect condition?
yep.
Yep. It all points to the fact that our contact simply chose the wrong place to wait for us. He was spotted by the criminals, making them suspicious. Then the farmer's son, Sarek, killed him and dumped him in the ravine. We managed to find the place and recovered the papers Lauren had been planning to sell us, and thus our next destination is Rotwood, a mysterious place where a group of experienced agents disappeared on a reconnaissance mission. We have a good idea how to get there, so we can move out immediately. Congratulations on your success in the first scenario. Don't rush to put the cards back in the box, you're going to need some of them later. Set the following components aside: the characters you chose for this group, any coins that you had at the end of the scenario, the time meter and the current time token, which is that, and any cards with keywords if you have obtained any. There are keywords that neither you or we got.
It's true.
Be prepared, the following scenarios will be longer and more complicated. We recommend writing down key information. The reverse side of this card shows you a part of the world where current events are taking place. If you're ready to start scenario 2, the mysterious place, expected time 3 hours. Now, had you not found the ravine, which some people don't find.
I mean, you guys were nearly missing it. Like,
yeah, but you got it, boom, just like that. So
right.
It says most likely will have. If you had not found it, it would have said, as we failed to find any information, we'll need to turn to people we wouldn't want to contact otherwise. Most likely, we'll have to pay for that at some point in every meaning of the word. We've arranged to meet them in a village called Oldgate, 3 days travel northward from here. So you would have had to have stopped at Oldgate. as it is, you know how to get there, so it won't cost you any coins. So when you play this adventure, and I really think you should, because man,
It's cool.
this is really cool.
Yep.
Then from you will get to start scenario 2, and you have the final rest keyword, as do we.
Yeah, but we ended with 4 coins.
We had more
4.
coins.
Cool.
There was a keyword, unmasking. I mean,
Who knows how to get that?
who knows how to get that? It's in the cards that we didn't find.
I mean, we could have surveilled a location 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 8. Like we had all these opportunities to like search 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8.
There's plenty of things. I mean,
So
there's tons of different cards here. Is there any keywords on any of them?
no,
I'm curious.
stop looking.
I mean,
Stop looking.
so Splitty says, "Scooby-Doo." Like, yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Hey, Scoob, let's go. We've got to get Robwood. Hey. This is funny. Here's the smithy, right? On card 27. What happens if you flip over card 27?
Burned up.
It's burned up. We don't know how this happened. You guys didn't do it either. So it's super cool. There's stuff that neither of us has found, and so I was really looking forward to doing this with you guys.
Yeah.
To show you how awesome this can be. And I knew
Usually
what was going on.
praise games like this.
No,
So this
I
is
don't.
a huge praise. We really like. There's 3 that we know of.
That we know of. We haven't gone looking in the bottom of the box.
We played through it. Yeah, we just did this one.
And these are super heavy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The way I look at it is this: even if it is a one-time playthrough, which I mean, if it's a one-time playthrough, just think how much it costs to go to the movies, and that's a 2-hour thing.
Hey,
This is at least 6 more hours, I'm thinking.
So this was about 2 hours for the play.
Right. But then you're going to get another 3 and another 3.
Significant time. So, and it's really well done.
Duchess says Boardlandia has it for $35. How much does it cost you to go to the movies?
For 2 people,
yeah. Yeah. And you can have as many people sitting at the table as you want.
Yep.
Duchess says, I see there's an expansion.
Well, we definitely want to play it.
I'm going to have to check with Robert on that because I'm really interested.
This really impressed us. So
yes,
we would definitely highly recommend playing it.
And if it weren't for you nosy kids, they'd have gotten away with it. Oh.
That's right.
So fun. Anyway, we hope you give Mortum Medieval Detective from Arcane Wonders a try. We enjoyed it not once, but twice. And unlike a lot of games that we put on the review shelf and then not the review shelf, but the campaign shelf, and they sit and they sit and they sit, I think I'm going to go ahead and knock these out. So
give them a go.
Give them a go.
I want to see how it goes and how well we do.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
Hope you guys had fun with this. I know we did. So thanks for participating, Jelfia and Heroic and Shano and even Splutty. Throwing that in there. And so be sure to finish up the entire adventure.
Yep. Check it out. And we'll be right back.